Hi, everyone. My name is Jan Lam. I'm the founder of Fortune Homes Team, and here with me is an incredible person that we got a chance to meet several years ago. One of my prior students and now a market leader for Suffolk, Virginia for Fortune Homes Team is Mr. Darrell Jordan. Now, one of the things I love about market leaders is their genuineness and their willingness to help other people succeed. And not only helping them succeed, but also leading by example. So here, we want to share a quick success story of Darrell actually leading by example with one of his deals. So that way, everyone knows that they're being led by someone who knows what they're doing. It's recent, it's not from the Stone Age, and it's very fresh in their brain on what's going on today and what works today and not what worked yesterday. So, Mr. Jordan, thank you for coming on today.
Glad to be here.
Awesome, fantastic. So can you real quick share with everyone, before real estate investing, what was your prior background?
Oh yeah, my prior background was a director of IT, information and technology, working with several different industries, but that was my entire career. I went to college for information technology, actually engineering, and that's been my primary career. Part of that also was as a bivocational pastor, and that's actually how I met you.
Okay, wonderful. And what motivated you to do that transition from that IT world to something totally different like real estate?
I got to give it to you. Seriously, I had you to come over to do a workshop in a conference I was doing at the church. I actually did that conference for 2 years, and I had toyed around with landlording previously. Usually when I bought a new house, I'd keep the old one rented out, primarily for the tax advantages. Really didn't know much about real estate investing at all other than that. But when you came over to do the workshop for us, it was more enlightening. I started going to your REIA, and then a number of things were going on in my life at that time, and I decided to make a career switch. It looked very doable. I've owned my own small business before in IT, so it wasn't that big of a deal to make a switch from the corporate world to the small business world. And so at some point in time, a few years ago, I did make that switch. I'm glad I did.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And I know a lot of people are always thinking about doing real estate, whether it be investing, be a landlord, doing a fix and flip. They go to the doctor's office, they go to the body or the auto shop, and they always see HGTV on, and they always think about the possibilities, right? But not a lot of them take that extra step to learn what it takes to get it done, and realizing that it's not that hard after all, right? So when you went through our trainings and everything, can you share with us what was that thing that helped you get your first deal?
It was your boot camp. Again, after I met you, you'd done the workshop, I started attending your REIA meetings, and then I attended your first boot camp on rehabbing. And during that period of time, I actually came across a deal with a relative back in my hometown. I was living up in North Virginia at the time. And so I applied everything that you taught us from the boot camp, and absolutely everything worked. I'm not saying everything was super smooth, but you gave me all the tools to actually make the first flip work. Everything worked, it was successful, and that gave me the motivation, to go full time, because I was, kind of doing it part time at that time.
Awesome. And just my personal experience, I remember my first deal, even to this day. I may not remember my second, third, or fourth deal, but I always remember my first one, right?
Oh yeah.
But during your first one, do you recall any emotional roller coasters that you went through during that process of buying the deal and then doing the deal and then selling the deal?
Personally, actually, no. Again, I had experience both on the corporate world and the small business side, and I was contemplating making a switch anyway, but after everything went together relatively well, I'm not saying everything was absolutely smooth, but everything actually worked. Each piece of it worked. Acquiring the deal from the contract, actually doing the rehab, selling it through a realtor. It all worked, and that gave me the motivation. Hey, if it's going to work with this, it can work in the future.
Awesome, good stuff. Now let's talk about your more recent deal that happened just a few weeks ago. In your recent deal, can you share with us how did you find it, and what was the motivation of the seller?
Well, what you've been helping me do is to widen my network. Excuse me. And I actually found the deal through my network. Through you, we've started on REIA here in the Hampton Roads area. We do mentoring and teaching together. So I'm also doing things on social media, marketing myself. And one of the persons in my network brought a lead to me. And so obviously I called the person, set up an appointment to go see them, talk to them while I was there. They mentioned a number they wanted for the house. I said, absolutely not, I can't give you anything like that. But I stressed all the features that we can offer. Fast closing, we buy with cash, we buy as is. You don't have to worry about fixing it up. Don't worry about getting a realtor put on the MLS, because it just takes too long. I can buy this in short order. And they had inherited the house from someone who passed away. The father passed away, the daughter inherited the house. She did not want it, it needed repairs. And so this was a great way for her to get out and make some cash. So actually that night I put together a contract. We met that day, discussed it. I put together the contract, sent over that night, and they were happy with the number that I gave back, which was much lower than what they originally put out. But they had a couple of questions about just some things in the yard. Do I have to, there was a shed in the back that was falling apart. Do I have to repair that? And so after they got over those few things, in a couple of days, I actually had them on the contract and we were ready to go.
Awesome. Good stuff. And when you finally got it on a contract, I'm sure you had to kind of work through all the details with the seller and everything. What kind of exit strategies were you considering? And I know in real estate, there's so many different exit strategies, but what kinds of exit strategies were you considering at the time of you actually ratifying the contract?
That's a great question, because I flip, I hold, and also wholesale. So at the time I was planning on flipping that one. That was the original exit strategy. And so I had to put on a contract. I had estimated my renovations, but of course I need to firm that up with contractors actually looking at it. So I have two foundation contractors that I work with all the time. Had both of them come over and look at it. Neither one could give me a firm number because the insulation under the foundation. And of course, they quoted me a price to clean it out and then quote me, which was $1,800. I was not about to spend that just to get a quote. And I didn't want to address the owner about it either. So another strategy is simply to wholesale it. And that's where the idea came from. Now, for the number I put on the contract, I didn't take out my assignment fee. So I was a little concerned whether I could actually make this work. But after talking to you, we came up with a number we thought would work. And sure enough, it did work by adding my assignment fee on top of my offer.
Okay, wonderful. So you ultimately decided to wholesale it, and are you happy with that decision?
Absolutely.
Good stuff. And during the process of actually finding, for those who don't know, wholesale, you get on a contract and then you sell the contract to someone else without ever buying the property, right? But for you, can you share with us what your experience was with regards to the process of Fortune Homes actually helping you with finding an end buyer?
See, this is why I like working with you, Jan, because that was a weekend after I got this on a contract, and when I decided to wholesale it, I first introduced the idea to you. You said, sure, let's do this. You actually gave me the number to offer, and then we started publicizing it the next Tuesday. I think your ad went out Tuesday. I sent that same ad out to my network as well, and I immediately got phone calls and emails. You the same thing. We talked, and we actually agreed to go with a buyer prior to the open house, which was coming up on Saturday. So we didn't even have to go to the open house. We found a qualified buyer with experience. We know he performs, and so we were very happy with the buyer that actually you brought to the table. So that's why I like working with you.
Yeah, and our process is very simple. We have a process where we have a network of tens of thousands of end buyers all across the country, and targeting in your neck of the woods, in the Hampton Roads area, there are a lot of qualified individuals there. I'm sure if we had done that open house, it would have been a field pack house.
Yep.
But just for the interest of solidifying a very solid buyer,
yep,
already gave a price that we were pretty happy about. We just decided to proceed there without any much drama, right?
Which was actually above list.
And it was above list price, exactly. And he already offered above list price, but we negotiated further because we incentivized him. How much would you give us to cancel the open house? Because he really wanted that house, right? So good stuff. All right. And if you don't mind me asking, what in the Hampton Roads area, I mean, the average wholesale fee, if I recall correctly, is roughly about what, $15,000-$20,000 or so per deal. That's reasonable in that general neck of the woods. How much did you end up making from an assignment fee for that deal?
That's correct. The average wholesale fee in this area is $18,000. That's the average. Some lower, some higher. So this one we get 38.
38,000. So that was way above average.
Which is really well for the Hampton Roads area.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so that's a great story because you negotiated well and you used the power of our network to get that deal done. And this goes to show that real estate is not about what you know; it's about who you know, right? And who you know is much more important. Even when I was growing up in my corporate America years, I realized that I could get straight A's in school, but I didn't know the right people. I could not succeed in corporate America. And amazing, the same thing applies in real estate.
That's correct. Because if you know the right people, you can get the right answer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we try to do, right? Between us as market leaders for our communities is to provide that network for people to leverage off of, so that way hopefully we can make money together.
Right.
All right, good stuff. So if there was someone, today who was thinking about real estate investing, but they haven't really took the leap forward yet, what would you tell them?
Lots of things you can do. Start going to a REIA. A REIA costs you nothing but a little time, and you find out so much for free. You get to network with other investors who are on the same journey. Some are learning, some are experienced. And so in the Hampton Roads area, we have a REIA, Team Blessing REIA, that you can attend. We meet on the second Tuesday of each month. We also follow that up online. If you can't come in person, you do the same thing up in the Haymarket area. So you can come to something like that for free. Together, we do a 5-day challenge. A very inexpensive way to get a broad understanding of real estate investing in just 1 week's period of time. And you can really get to your first deal simply by concentrating a couple hours a day for 5 days a week. And as I mentioned, it's very, very inexpensive. So it's a great way to start. I remember when I first started, it cost a whole lot more to get this kind of training, but we offer it virtually for free. And so it's a great way to get started.
Okay, awesome. And let's talk about your community real quick. I know you're leading in the South Virginia area, roughly over 600 people as of this date. And you only started about a year ago, and people are continuing to join your meetings, coming out to the events. New people, old people, they come out and you meet new people. What do you think is driving that success that helps people want to come out more to learn more about real estate through you?
I think it's genuineness. I mean, because I'm doing this, we always want to pass on what we've learned. I've only been doing this a few years full time myself, and I'm at the point, because of you, I'm able to give back right now. That's what I've always wanted to do. Even as a bivocational pastor, I want to give back. And so that's what we do through these free Real Estate Investor Association meetings. We give away what we've learned. We give away what's working now. We don't talk about stuff that used to work 20, 40 years ago. And there are some things that still work, but we talk about what works today, and we actually show you how to do it. And because there are other people in the room, ourselves included, and other people in the room that can help you get that done. You can always get more done with other people than just by yourself. So the community of coming together, it's a great thing. And so, yes, with your help, we were able to start a REIA in the Hampton Roads area. We have people that come from the peninsula, people from Hampton, Newport News on the south side, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth. In addition to Suffolk, I've had people come all the way from North Virginia down to a physical meeting. I had people come down from Richmond to a physical meeting. So the reach goes into North Carolina. So it's really great to be able to help people even outside of the local area.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the way you lead your community says a lot about you, because we've experienced people from your area come up to open houses, look for deals that are 4 hours away, all the way up to Northern Virginia in the mountains of the Shenandoah Valley. So that just means that their belief level in the knowledge and information that they're learning from you is such high credibility that they're willing to put that time in to look at deals because they know it's going to work eventually for them.
Right.
So, so great stuff. So within your community, are there any particular success stories of students that you'd like to share with the community and how they're doing?
Sure. We just did a 5-day challenge, and then we followed that up with a 30-day challenge. One of our students in the front row area did get a wholesale under contract, and we're just at the end of that now. We did our open house this last weekend. This is a person who had a little bit of experience but wanted to attend our class and put it all together. Again, during the 5-day challenge, we put all the pieces together. Can you learn it all through YouTube and books and podcasts? sure over a long period of time, but you don't get those questions answered that you need answered right now for the continuation. And so with her, even there was a little timidity on making this offer. I was able to work with her. We were able to make the offer. I coached her on how to speak with the seller. We got it under contract. And of course, through your network, we were able to find buyers that showed up during the open house and find her a buyer. So yeah, that's a great success story for anyone who can attend a mentoring class like this. And we actually coach you through your first deal. And that's the whole idea. Let's get your first deal in 30 days, right? And then you'll be so motivated, you'll gain so much knowledge, you'll want to do it over and over and over again.
Absolutely, and you could have said it better, because our goal when we designed our curriculum the post-COVID era to make things more virtual, make things more of a national platform, we do the 5-day challenge, but then we challenge them to get their first deal in 30 days. And we have a plan to get their deal in 30 days. And we've had a lot of students complete the 5-day challenge, and like 2, 3, 4 weeks later, they get their first deal ratified. So if they can do it, everyone can do it and follow the same system. And there's the support, there's the encouragement, and the accountability to help them get it done. And that's what most people are lacking. We provide that through our curriculum, through market leaders like you, Darrell. So great stuff. So for yourself, if you had a message you can send to your community today, what would that be?
The message would be, listen, if I can do it, you certainly can do it. There's nothing rocket science about this, right? It just takes street smart. Is that correct? But seriously, if I can start doing this from scratch, coming from a totally different career. Now, I did apply some disciplines from my previous career into this, and I always recommend that. Bring what you've already learned into real estate investing, and you'll be surprised how much you can apply. But the way we teach, the way we train, anybody can do this. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't even matter if you've never had a industry job. A homemaker could do this from their home and be successful in real estate investing. Absolutely anybody can do this. And I'm a testament that it works. Other students who have done this have proved that it works, and the other people who come to our real meetings have proved it works.
Awesome, good stuff. Well, Darrell, we really appreciate your leadership and your hard work and your genuineness to help others. And for those who are watching this interview right now, one of our criteria to bring market leaders in is that they got to have a genuine interest in helping other people and do deals with them. There are a lot of sharks out there in the real estate industry that will cutthroat you at the first sight of opportunity. But for us, that is not our model. We follow Zig Ziglar's model, and that is, if you help enough people get what they want, we will get what we want. And so your success is also our success. We don't charge enormous training fees like some companies, 10, 20, 30. I remember, Darrell, one lady came to me and said, for the past 2 years, I've spent $177,000 in training. And I said, wow, how many deals have you done? She said, 0. And the reason why is because you can go to college all day long, but if you don't apply what you learn, you got nothing. So the accountability is what we provide, and that's what people are needing. And again, this is not rocket science, right? We both have degrees in some technical stuff. I have a degree in engineering. People in society consider us to be smart people, but you don't need to be smart, right? You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You just need to be smart on the street, which is what you need to succeed in business. So with that, thank you for watching this interview. Darrell, any final words?
That's it. Again, anybody can do this, and we're willing to help.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Darrell. Great job, and look forward to seeing more success stories from your community in the very near future.